Welcome, Earthlings! From the minds of Dylan Oltoft and Rob McNair, we bring you Laughing on a Prayer!
Everyone and their mums is podcasting around here.
Like who?
Podcasters.
And?
Podcasters' mums.
You know what you are? You're a fucking busybody podcaster! Welcome there, people. You have You have the honour of drawing first blood for this podcast. Me and my companions are fucking wary, and I can't remember it exactly.
You better believe it, big balls.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to the next episode of Laughing on a Prayer. My name is Dylan Oltoft, and this is Robert McNair. And we are here today to bring you the next episode in our beloved podcast. God damn, we're at like 55 or something like that now. Jesus Christ. Yarp.
Yarp.
And today we are going to be talking about one of the most beloved trilogies in British comedy history. That is what is it referred to as, Rob?
Cornetto.
Why is it called the Cornetto Trilogy, Rob?
Because there was reference to cornettos in each one of the films.
Quick disclaimer, we are not sponsored by Cornetto for this thing, so if we say anything disparaging, Cornetto is not able to hold us liable.
Cornetto's a solid ice cream, though.
Okay, yeah, a personal opinion, I also admit I do enjoy Cornettos as well. Mint is my favourite.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You prefer that or the strawberry or the nutty?
Mint, definitely. Mint chocolate chip is where...
Mint ice cream is fucking top tier.
Oh,
we should do an ice cream episode.
Yeah. Just shit food episode.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We probably did talk about ice cream in that one. So, yeah, we are going to be discussing 3 movies from the Cornetto Trilogy. Yeah. That is the Cornetto Trilogy.
That's the definition of a trilogy.
Why can't you ever get 4 films in the trilogy? I blame the patriarchy.
To break boundaries.
Fucking, we've now just lost all the mathematicians. Pythagoras has entered the chat.
Let's be honest. People that are mathematicians are not listening to this. They're probably listening to, like, smart podcasts. Math podcasts.
Raps about numbers.
Yeah.
4 equals 2, and 2 minus the remainder.
Yeah. Because maths just takes up the entirety of their lives once you become a mathematician.
Yeah,
There's nothing else in life at all other than that.
You know, they're doing equations on the mirror while brushing their teeth the second they wake up and all that sort of thing. They count every individual Cheerio before they pour the milk in.
That's OCD.
And I bet OCD people make the best mathematicians.
Having to, like, do it, like...
Isn't that a movie? Didn't, like, Ben Affleck play, like, a mathematician that was, like, incredibly OCD and was also, like, a hitman or something? The accountant. Wasn't that Ben Affleck?
Was that Ben Affleck? That sounds familiar. I don't know.
It was a good film. Anyway... We are going to be talking about Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and one of the more polarising received ones critically, The World's End. Is it At World's End or The World's End?
The World's End. Or is it just World's End? No, At World's End is Parts of the Caribbean.
Oh, yes, you're right there.
I think The World's End is what the pub's...
I would have loved to have seen Simon Pegg in Pirates of the Caribbean. I think he would have made a fun pirate.
Yeah, I think you would have done as well. I think you would have been a great pirate. Yar!
Imagine if Simon Pegg being Mr. Gibbs.
Mr. Gibbs.
Sea turtles. Because he could already do a sort of a growly voice as Scotty from Star Trek.
Yes, he's...
Might also be good to point out, while there are a lot of reoccurring actors in all 3 of the films, 2 are usually the frontrunners. That would be Simon Pegg and Nicholas Frost.
Yep, otherwise known as Nick Frost, or his Instagram handle, Fried Gold.
Alright then, this is quickly something we haven't done in quite a while. Rob, I want to quickly ask you a question.
Oh no.
Starting off, if you were doing the Golden Mile from The World's End,
yeah,
and let's bear in mind, this is in the exact context of the movie itself,
yeah,
which pub do you think the aliens would have snagged you in?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
The World's End. No, probably... Well, it definitely wouldn't be the nightclub one, because I fucking hate nightclubs.
With the jam sandwich. What was it? No, marmalade sandwich. That was it.
I'd miss that one out. They probably...
No, you'd have to go to it though, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
The thing is, those weren't nightclub people. They just went there just to swallow down the pints.
Yeah, so I'd do that as well. I wouldn't hang around there. So I think I'll be safe there. Probably the one where they have the first fight, because that looks like a nice place. It's got a nice outside
What,
bit.
in the toilet?
Yeah, they'd probably get me there.
Thing is, though, we're not loudmouth absolute dipshits. We might just do our pub crawl and they might not suck us up.
Also, I feel like we'd be like young, we're like, because the whole thing is that they're sort of like in their 40s trying to relive their younger days, whereas we're like sort of mid-20s.
Don't they only absorb you though if you come off as an unruly dipshit? Like they they assimilate only shitty people, don't they?
Oh, is that
Or were they?
I thought it was like the.
Or was it just anybody?
Was it just anybody? I don't think.
Because there were only 2 people left in the town when they went back there: Filch and what's the other guy? The guy.
The Reverend Green.
Yeah. Wait, was that Filch? Yeah, it was the guy that played
David Bradley.
He's a great actor.
And Michael Smiley, who plays the Reverend Green. You got any drugs?
Oh shit, that would have been great for the opening.
Oh damn it!
Knock, knock, knock. Got any podcasts?
Got any podcasts? God damn it!
Can all you guys pretend that we did that and comment on how funny it was?
Yeah. Positive feedback only, please.
So yeah, that you'd last until.
Oh, actually, no. Maybe the one with with Pierce Brosnan in it.
Oh, and part of me was kind of thinking, but when he was trying to talk them over and he said, so, maybe we should start again and have another round. Part of me was thinking, like, yeah, I would have said, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, alright then.
That's the thing, I'm kind of reasonable, so I would say, okay, convince me. Convince me of my species enslavement. I'll give you no chance if you're buying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I bet that's how Hitler done it. Obviously it's a very sort of out there ideology. So Hitler was just constantly buying the rounds, and eventually, everyone was talked round, sort of thing.
And now we have to take a drink because we've mentioned Hitler.
That was it. Hitler was constantly coming back to the table with a tray full of Jaeger bombs, and he was just saying, "Guys, come on now, come on, everyone all together right now." So Jews.
To be fair though, he did do a lot of speeches in beer halls and stuff. And that was like the beer hall putsch and all that.
That was a National Socialist. They had nothing else to do.
Can you imagine Hitler just knocking back the Jaeger and Red Bull?
Well, he was a vegetarian. Actually, oh shit, wasn't he teetotal?
Oh yeah, he was.
Oh,
not to be trusted.
No, not at all.
Yeah, and he was vegetarian as well.
Oh, that makes it even more sinister. He'd go to the pub and he'd watch everyone else as he was buying all the rounds, telling them he had like a vodka mixer when it was actually just lemonade.
Oh my god.
The most evil thing he could ever do.
The more I hear about this Hitler guy, the more I'm starting to sort of think he's a bit dodgy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's it.
Do you know what I mean?
I think during the 90s or the 2000s, that used to be a way I think the Conservatives used to try and sell themselves, because you get a shot of David Cameron in a pub drinking, and I was like, I'm a common man. See me in this pub drinking this pint. I went home and masturbated with my Shiraz as I usually do, but here's me with.
Yeah, and what's it? Gordon Brown with the 99 ice cream.
Oh yeah, or Nick Clegg with his fucking he'd be on a bicycle. Oh, that was another thing as well. They'd show them as common people in full bicycle gear, which was hilarious given the majority of UK voters are drivers and drivers fucking hate cyclists.
Oh fuck! What was I going to say about Hitler? Oh yeah, no. It's there's that bit in Family Guy with Brian's really stupid girlfriend, which is I just watched this thing on the TV about Hitler. Someone should stop that guy.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Yeah.
If only Gillian had been around in the 40s, America might have acted before fucking Pearl Harbor. Oh, yeah.
Anyway, Cornetto Trilogy.
Yes, 8 minutes in. Okay, fair enough. Maybe, to be honest, that might not have been a good question, because the whole film was dependent on the fact they were all shit. Oh, sorry, one of them was, Gary King was a shithead, and that's why they got caught.
Yeah. I feel like The World's End. Actually, no. We'll lead on to this, but okay. In order, what are your in order, what's your most preferred film?
I have a feeling, given our friendship group and the way we quote one specific film, you're going to really get pissed at me. But it actually kind of mine goes Hot Fuzz, World's End, and Shaun of the Dead. I think Shaun of the Dead is actually, in terms of
I'm the same.
Really?
Yeah, I actually quote World's End way more than Shaun of the Dead.
I think World's End is a lot more interesting. Shaun of the Dead is kind of basic to me. Like, it has its funny moments, and we ourselves in our zombie episode quoted that one in our opening, but really, I think it hinges more on the fact of... I think it leans too hard on the zombie angle, and I know that's... Oh, yeah, it's a zombie film, but... I don't know, the Cornetto Trilogy and the other films...
It's a romance film with zombies.
Yeah.
That's what its slogan was.
Fuck.
It's a romance film with zombies.
The unofficial prequel to that, what was it called? Z.
No,
not Z.
No, it was like Warm Bodies.
That Romeo and... That was it.
Warm
Warm Bodies.
Which sounds
that was shit.
Yeah, it was a shit film.
Yeah. But I think it's mainly because, like, for example, World's End, they had the alien robots and all that sort of thing, but it didn't feel like that was... I don't know if I'm going to articulate this well. It wasn't distracting from what the characters were doing. Maybe it's just because, they were just a lot more wild and engaging, but... And I think that was the point of Shaun of the Dead, that it was happening in a very localised area full of boring schlubs. Like, Nick Frost's character was an unemployed gamer schlub, and Simon Pegg himself was just
like
some...
in a dead-end job.
Yeah, just some schlub that... his whole arc with his partner was the fact he just wanted to go to the pub and have toasties every day, have absolutely no life.
Yeah, and I think as well, it's good because it's sort of like, in a way, it's like kind of what the average kind of like British bloke sort of, or people might do. And it's not like sort of like what people think sort of like a stereotypical like sort of zombie film like kind of is. Like, it would be kind of like that. People would be like watching it on the TV and shit. And as it's like kind of breaking out, there probably would be like dumb moments.
And I'm not saying it doesn't have its quotable moments. Like, obviously, and it has its really funny moments as well. Let's quickly... leave it. Even though we put that at the bottom, we're not saying it's not funny. It definitely has some really funny moments. Obviously, there are some bits that are a bit more... Again, like the bit when they're like choosing which record to throw at the zombie. That's kind of funny.
And you never forget your first as well, because that's the first like Cornetto film as well.
Was that the first one that came out?
Yeah.
Ah, right.
And then it was Hot Fuzz. There's also like bits in it, like the bit with Mary when she falls on the pole and gets impaled. And like there's all bits like that where it's like very gratuitous, but it's got that dark humour. Yeah. Sort of to it. I think we should go inside.
The bit with his mum. She was such a sweet, nice woman. She was so kind. It was like sort of like Aunt May in Spider-Man, just so sweet and nice.
Yeah, and then they full on show her getting shot in the face.
Right in the face.
Yeah. And again, that's like the sort of that dark like comedy.
I imagine a lot of Americans would watch that and be like, I don't get that. Why did they have to shoot the nice woman in the face like that? British comedy is so weird.
I think it's like one of the things that it's like a really mean thing to do, and I think like the sort of cruelty of having to shoot his own mum is just like I don't know.
Do you think you could have done that in that moment? Like if you knew she was turning and all that sort of thing?
No, I would have shot myself. Hypothetically, by the way, just to clarify.
Let us know in the comments, would you have to shoot your mother in the face if she was turning into a zombie? I just want to see if anyone will say yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? Don't feel bad. In an actual zombie situation, zombies got to go.
Yeah.
There's going to be no cure, I'm afraid. This isn't, what was that shitty, what was that, I Am Legend. There's no cure or anything. Zombies just got to go.
I Am Legend.
Imagine that at the end of a zombie apocalypse, after you had to murder your whole family, and science is like, we found a cure! It's like, you took your fucking time.
That's like, what's it, The Mist?
Oh, right. He shot all the people in the car, and then
his whole family, and 5 minutes later, the fucking army turns up. Oh, mate, that was... I don't know, I was just like, oh, man, that's...
I want to see someone edit the final scene as he's, like, screaming on the road, and it's just the ending music of, like, Curb Your Enthusiasm, like... But no, we're talking about good moments in Shaun of the Dead to justify the fact it's clearly the weakest one of the trilogy. Obviously, the bit with Phil. The actor that plays Phil is
Bill
great.
Nighy. He's Davy Jones.
He's great.
Yeah, he is good.
I have nothing bad to say about him. Even when he's turning into a zombie, I think it's Nick's driving his car and he's still wanting, because it's, what was it, a Mustang or something? It was a nice car.
No, it's a Jaguar.
Jaguar, yeah.
Looks like we're going to have to take the Jag. I pranged it.
So I think it's a bit unfair that the reason I rank it third was the whole point of the film in the first place. But even if that's the point, obviously they're all schlubs. I do like the bit where he's walking through the street and he's not noticing anyone being a zombie because he's just going through his
there's
his routine.
bloody handprints on the fridge and he even slips in some of it. I think for me it's like if I had 3 of the films set out in front of me, and someone said like you can pick like one to pick one to watch, I'd definitely go Hot Fuzz, and then I'd go World's End, because I just find World's End is a film that I've seen quite a few times and I always actually enjoy watching it.
Yeah, I think I'd only really watch Shaun of the Dead if it was like, again, if we were in a group of friends and we were watching it and we were on Netflix and we just finished the previous 2, it was like, shall we watch Shaun? And be like, yeah, alright. I might have to be like, I might have to be asked a couple times before I'll say yes.
Yeah, and there's some neat, because lots of the people in Shaun of the Dead and in the Cornetto Trilogy are in what Simon Pegg and Nick Frost did before called Spaced.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and there's references to Spaced in Shaun of the Dead. So Michael Smiley plays a character who's also the Reverend Green. In Spaced, he plays a character called Tyres, who is like this bike messenger guy. And
oh, sorry to interrupt. Just want to quickly say, if you hear any noise in the background, it is raining outside. There is nothing wrong with the audio or your headphones or anything. So any sort of little bit of background noise, it's raining outside.
That's not true. It's actually the dripping blood of our victims.
That is some profuse dripping. I'm impressed with us.
There's a few victims.
Could you get dripping that? Like, you'd purposely have to like rain blood out for it to hit, because something that drops is just falling from gravity. You need to like shoot blood to make it hit something that hard.
I don't know. I reckon Vlad the Impaler probably had a few moments. I reckon he could pull that off.
I'd like to see that. Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
So there's a reference in Shaun of the Dead when they're about to go into the pub and they're all being swarmed by zombies. You can see him in his costume as Tyres in the crowd with his yellow cap and his bike.
Oh, right.
So there's like little nods to little nods to Space, because they're sort of the same kind of thing. And like for instance, Yvonne, the woman who's sort of like the opposite of Shaun, is played by Jessica Stevenson.
Oh, when they run into that second group full of all the sort of bigger name actors.
Yeah, she plays his roommate in.
I did like that bit. It's like they're all sort of more
it's like copies of themselves, but like
A-lister sort of people, because I think they were all like more well-known actors.
Well,
I thought that was the joke, the fact that they were running across in a way a more cinematically superior group to them.
I know that Martin Freeman was in it. I don't know if there are any other people that were like.
I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure there were quite a few like bigger names there, and I thought that was sort of the joke.
I remember Martin Freeman. I thought it was like the sort of like they've got their own like sort of polar opposite. So it's like she's Shaun, and then she's got her boyfriend, and then they've got like their sort of version of Pete. Not Pete. Their version of David and their version of Diane. And
it's sort of weird how Martin Freeman works in all of those films sort of thing, because I see Martin Freeman, he is in my mind very top tier actor. Obviously
he is now, definitely.
He was Bilbo, he's in the MCU and all that sort of thing.
Sherlock as well.
And I know Simon Pegg, was in Star Trek and
Star Wars as well. Star Wars.
Simon Pegg was in Star Wars?
Yeah, he plays in The Force Awakens. He plays like the sort of alien.
Oh, he was the junk trader guy that was kicked to shit and made. I don't know if that should count.
He's still in it.
Fuck off.
Just because I don't recognise
why get a big name for that kind of role? Any gargled motherfucker could have done that.
Maybe he just wanted to do it because he likes Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
Martin Freeman to me, for me it's a bit jarring because I know him as being like sort of like probably above those sort of films seem above his pay grade, is what I'm saying.
Well, I suppose like potentially now, but like he was in Ali G as well. Martin Freeman.
Holy shit! Yeah,
man, that's a good film.
I think out of the entire trilogy, he was a lot funnier in The World's End when he's one of the mates. Because I think in Hot Fuzz, he was just one of the policemen that was trying to get rid of him.
New.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was fucking what's his name? The cunt. The first one he talks to. Everyone's a bit of a cunt sometime. What was his name? Fucking the first.
What are you talking about?
Oh,
sorry, you just went.
Wasn't he in? He was in Tropic Thunder. Wasn't he the director?
Oh, yeah. fucking Alan Partridge, Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan, thank you. That's
Sorry, you just went the cunt. Everyone's a bit of a cunt. Sometimes.
I'll show you after the recording, but he's actually in a song called that. Everyone's a bit of a cunt, and it's Steve Coogan. It literally starts off with like, "You're Steve Coogan, right?" It's like, "You're a bit of a cunt, aren't you?" It was like, "Who said that?" And the guy shows him a newspaper and says, "Steve Coogan's dad says he's a cunt."
Really?
And then Stephen Coogan then just goes on to do a nice, lovely little jolly song about how everyone's a cunt. My nan's died. Never missed her. Ooh, what a cunt. I'll show you it after the thing, but it's absolutely great. Yeah, Steve Coogan was like the first one.
Yeah, the first one.
Then they brought in Martin Freeman to do the second one, and then finally it was... Yeah. You can't just make people disappear. Yes, I can. I'm the chief inspector. It's just so great.
Yeah.
When I was watching that, why didn't he just... Part of me would have been like, no, fuck you, I quit. I'm not going to leave my whole town just because you want me to. Fuck you.
He can't quit though, can he? Because he's like married to the job.
I'm sure he could have gone into like... Again, if this was me, I would have been like, well, I have the most outstanding police record in the country. I'll be paid 6 figures in like a private security force. But that's just me.
I do really...
Fuck you, I'm not going to fucking Staffordshire or wherever the hell they went.
But that's like the opposite though, because that's like the sort of joke about Hot Fuzz, is that like the kind of trope of police action things is that you have like the rogue cop that's like, I don't play by the rules, but I get the job done, whereas Nicholas Angel absolutely follows all rules and regulations.
And is fucked by it.
Yeah, and then at the end, it's like it switches it on its head, which I think is like a very neat kind of joke that like the main protagonist is is like the completely straight, tight-laced guy that's usually in like police like action stuff. He's usually seen as like kind of the bad guy, like the guy that's supposed to be following all the rules is like often portrayed as like not great.
Well, that's it, sort of how, in a way, it sort of flips that on its head, because by the end of the movie, he did have to break some rules and be unorthodox and a wild cowboy. Like they say at the start of the movie, can't be the sheriff of London, and then he walks into the town square like a sheriff sort of thing for the big shootout.
Yeah.
Which, funnily enough, I believe it's one of the funny, like, IMDb funny facts sort of thing. No one dies in that whole shootout.
No
like,
one dies.
I can't imagine how many rounds from all these different kind of guns. Like, even like the Baker had like an AR-15 or something. Like, they had like automatics.
That woman, the shop owner had like an M14. Like,
shit like that. Like, they say everyone in the country has guns, but as a person from the country yourself, surely that kind of gun isn't... You can't get that.
No, you can't.
Like, it's all just like shotguns and stuff. I imagine the country's full.
Rifles. I mean, you can get some cool guns, but you can't get like an SLR like he had. I mean, you probably could if you go to a dodgy part of London, but that's a different story.
Any dodgy parts of the country, like where he was?
Every one of their mums is packing around. No, I mean, every now and then. And
someone that comes from afar, what is like? How many firearms would you say a farm has on its premises?
I think it depends really on the farmer.
Are you worried about disclosing this?
Yeah. But mostly like any sort of like sometimes like say like someone dies and they've got like an old shotgun or something like that, and like someone like their family relative will like find it and be like, oh, well, maybe they're a bit dodgy, so they just, kind of take it and that sort of, or something.
I did like Filch in Hot Fuzz as the country guy that no one could understand, but he has just that... It's the fact he was speaking English, and if you rewatch the scene like 5 times, you do start to hear the words. It's like watching... It's like on South Park, when after a certain point you can start to understand Kenny in his muffled voices. And it keeps getting translated like,
it's not the dog we need. Yes, I suppose.
I suppose.
Yes, I think as well, like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are sort of like, Shaun of the Dead's probably more relevant to like, or more relatable to people that like live in a town or like a city, whereas like, Hot Fuzz is definitely relatable to people who've like lived in the country and stuff.
Yeah,
like the Village Fate and stuff like that. Like
I would say Shaun of the Dead's probably the most commercially friendly. Like it sort of appeals to everyone, whereas like you said, Hot Fuzz it has sort of niche sense of humour.
British
certain references only for that sort of people to sort of get.
Yeah, like the Church Fate, like the tombola they've got. My village actually has an identical one. Like not even a joke. It's the same colour and the same shape. It's the same one.
someone myself that grew up mainly in cities and all that, I watched that and I love it and all that, but I never realised just how many, like you just exclaimed, country references that are apparently really accurate.
It's like everybody knows everyone around here. It's like, yeah, that's like true. I was like, yeah, I like know everyone in my village as well.
It's like, oh, that's Annie's sister's brother's mum's cousin sort of thing. It's like that's the thing, when they talk about people, they don't use their last names because everyone's on first name basis, aren't they? Sort of thing. That's Annie's boy and sort of thing. Yeah. Like they could be talking about a 45-year-old man and they'll just say that's Annie's boy. Yeah, it's just this weird, creepy familiarity. And to be honest, that would drive me fucking nuts. That's why I never want to retire to the country. Because I picture myself like brushing my teeth in the morning, sneezing, and I'm going to the shops later and someone says, oh, by the way, bless you. What the fuck?
You got a cold?
Like, could you imagine always having eyes and people that know everything about you everywhere? That would drive, but that's the whole point of it, like the creepy, all-seeing village that's doing shady shit, and that's part of
everyone knows it. You know, it's sort of like, you know, kind of like constant surveillance. It's like paranoid constant surveillance. Like, you don't know. To be fair, I'm like always known as like my father's son. It's like, oh, you're Ian's boy. Like, that's not even a joke. It's real. It's real, and because it is based in where Edgar Wright, who, you know, is the director of the films, like they actually filmed like that's his village as well. And he talked about, and like in an interview, he talks about, it's like, oh, I really like my village, but I've always really wanted to blow it up.
I think we should take a moment and appreciate so much of the attention to detail that was in Hot Fuzz before we talk a bit about World's End. I'll start. My first one is some of the, I guess you could call them Chekhov's gun, but again, when they're in the things like, oh, shall we go through the phone book? Aaron A. Aronson, and the little boy at the end in the model village is called Aaron A. Aronson.
Yeah, Aaron Aronson, yeah. I suppose there are literal Chekhov's guns, aren't there, in it? Like, probably multiple Chekhov's guns. Literally, the armory that they raid, he then uses.
Is that a Chekhov's gun? I would say, for example, in Shaun of the Dead, the Winchester rifle, that's a literal Chekhov's gun.
Well, but it's like, they find the guns, and then he uses the guns in the end. The sea mine, Chekhov's sea mine.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely...
Chekhov's sea mine.
Oh, it's a load of junk! I love how quick didaction. Why he actually honestly said when he said, "I hope you got a rifle for that thing," and he said, "Aye, this one." Like he could have just said yes and shown them the license, but then he just happily disclosed the fact that he had a whole like Afghan armory in his fucking shed.
I mean, there was someone
just honest, just like what he's not going to lie to the police because he sees no problem with it.
there was someone, or there is someone in my village that was like going through like her attic or whatever, and found like a fully operational like Walter PPK pistol, you know, like James Bond uses with ammunition and everything, and it's like her father had just like put it up there in like, you know, the 70s and just forgotten about it. And she was like, oh crap.
Do licenses expire? Or?
Well, no, you're not allowed to have a semi-automatic handgun.
Oh, right.
With live ammunition.
Wait, semi-automatic? So like an Uzi? Or?
Well, no, like one shot per trigger pull. But like they're illegal now.
Wait, if it's one shot per thing, how is that semi-automatic?
Semi-automatic. Automatic is multiple shots with one trigger pull. Semi-automatic is, I suppose, like, you know, self-loading. So it's like...
Isn't that just straight shot?
No, because that's like bolt action or pump, so like single shot, double barrel.
Rob knows guns.
Yeah.
But okay, fair enough.
But yeah, so they found like this fully operational pistol with live ammunition. She's like, oh, like that is a long time. That's a good stint in prison if you get caught with that.
I just love when they found the big thing in Filch's... I'm sorry I call him Filch. He's a great actor. It's almost demeaning that I'm only quoting his Harry Potter.
You're not going to call him Walder Frey, or...
I kind of liked Filch more than Walder Frey. Fuck Walder Frey.
Yeah, Filch is definitely not as bad as Walder Frey.
Fucking squibs. Anyway, I don't love that bit when they ask him, where'd you get all these? And he just says, found them.
Yeah.
Part of me thinks the fact he had a sea mine, like, did you, like rob a fucking World War I mass grave or something?
I reckon he might...
They wouldn't have had those guns in World War I, but...
No, it might just have, like...
Found them!
Like, it might just have, like, washed up on the beach or something.
Well, they wouldn't be functional then, right? Or...
I don't know. I mean, they're supposed to function they're supposed to be watertight, aren't they, in a way?
Doesn't firing a pistol underwater like?
Oh no, like the sea mine, he might have just found. Oh
right. Well, I assume he found it all together. Like,
yeah, maybe. Maybe he did just. Maybe it was like some IRA dump or something like that. We're like reading too much into this.
Probably it is just a funny throwaway. The fact he just says found them. It's like just like tripped over a stockpile of.
He does. They do use some nicely Enfield SMLEs though. In the end, those are beautiful rifles. Like pick them out. Not that if someone asked me if I had that arsenal and someone said like I don't know if I would say.
Again, we quoted it earlier, like the line everyone of the mums is packing round here, farmers mums, and the first person Nicholas approaches that farmer and what does he say? Mum, who immediately pulls out a gun to shoot him.
Again,
like, nothing is
Chekhov's mum. I got it.
Beautiful. But again, everything has so much attention to detail in that movie. Nothing is casually said. Like there are so many payoffs to everything. Like
it all has meaning.
For example, even actually, weirdly enough, the British police force actually commended.
Service.
Cunt.
Got him. I was quoting the film.
Official Official vocab guidelines stated that the force is seen as too aggressive. But fuck, what was I saying? The police service actually said commended Hot Fuzz for their absolute accuracy on the amount of paperwork they actually have to do, like processing people, like how, like I think Nicholas says, you won't get through that many people without a considerable amount of paperwork. Like they have to record and check and like so much shit.
There's also a reference in it that the town of Sanford is actually like a sort of pseudonym for when police do exercises. So, like, if police was to do, like, a riot exercise or something, they write in the town of Sanford. It's sort of like a kind of jargon sort of thing. So the fact that the town is called Sanford is, like, a reference to sort of, like, that kind of, that, like, something that a policeman would, like, know.
Yeah.
They're like a little sort of reference that they actually did, like properly do like research and stuff.
Well, yeah, like they said earlier when he's like, "Oh, you want to be a bit? What is it? You want to be a big cop in a small town? Fuck off down the model village." And the whole climax of the movie takes place in the model village. Almost, this might be me reading into the fact that Sanford themselves wants to be a model sort of thing because they want to win dipshits of the year. So they want to be a model village.
Yeah. I mean, they literally they have that shot of the sign that says model village.
that actually, what is that? Is that the streamer that falls down in front of the inspectors?
Oh no, the sign's like a road sign when he's just arriving. They pass. It's literally like a blink and you'll miss it moment, but it has like model village just written on the sign.
Nothing is accidental, and I just love it.
Yeah, I think what Edgar Wright does really well is like visual gags.
Yes, absolutely.
Like using like camera work and stuff. So even like in Shaun of the Dead,
doesn't shy away from the gore either.
Yeah, like so Shaun of the Dead is like really like gory.
There's been a terrible accident.
Yeah, the fucking church.
Oh, when that one fell on him, that was beautiful.
Do you know, I squirmed more at the model village church thing impaling through his
I was watching that thinking, how was he still talking? Like, could a human being actually survive that?
It just sort of went through like there. It didn't go into his brain, did it?
No, but then I was thinking, like, if that's why you're not meant to remove like foreign bodies if you've been impaled or something. Because I think even when they were carting him away on like the ambulance thing, it was still in his mouth because if they pulled it out, it would have bled to death. Yeah. But I was thinking like, you would. Oh, this really hurts.
I need some ice cream.
I mean, it's amazing, but part of me thinks you'd just be screaming profusely.
Yeah. Again, it's like gratuitous violence mixed with comedy. I think they do really well.
The actor that played him there was
James Bond.
Timothy Dalton?
Yeah.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah, it's James Bond.
I actually liked his Bond films. Shame on me. Yeah. But he was the best all throughout. Oh, another fucking small detail there. When he's like driving through the accident, like the music that's playing on his radio is like a song relating to the thing that just happened.
Traffic collision.
Yeah, and then Firestarter was apparently playing with the guy who thing like blew up and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. And that's like again like visual and audio. The visual and audio gags they do really well. It's not just dialogue jokes. It's like also like the environment and stuff. I think is something that I think the films all have quite a lot of charm about them.
Oh, it's so fucking charming.
Like Shaun of the Dead does it as well. Even like when it's just a shot of like his feet and he's yawning and it's supposed to seem like a zombie and then it's just him yawning. Like that's like really simple but really clever.
Maybe that's what makes Hot Fuzz so great, as opposed to maybe The World's End or Shaun of the Dead. The fact that there isn't one bad character. Every person you see in any scene in their own way is kind of great. They're all serving some sort of purpose. They at least either get a line or they're relevant. There's no one wasted in any sort of scene. Like even when he's in that, when he's leaving London and goes to tell his girlfriend that he's going, and all the other people in the background, they all contribute in some way, and it's funny.
Yeah.
Like I'm racking my brain, and I genuinely don't think there's a single character in Hot Fuzz that's bad.
There's not one that you just sort of like. There's nothing that's like mediocre like about. They all serve like somewhat of they all serve a purpose.
Yeah, and again, I think that comes back to what you said before about it being so tight knit and all that. Like everyone's familiar with each other so much, so you sort of have that established sort of personality. Like you enter the world of country village types.
Yeah, and that is like the very country, like that's the sort of the farmer, kind of Bristolian southwest accent that it's like.
Quick shout out to Bill Bailey who played twins in that movie. It's like
nobody tells me nothing.
Such. And it's just because he sort of does have that accent, they threw him in there. He was actually saying in one of his stand-ups shows that he auditioned in Lord of the Rings to be Gimli, and they refused him because his accent was like very southwestern sort of thing. And then he was bitching about how all the hobbits then sounded, "Hello, Mr. Frodo," should we just like all sounded like South Country and all that.
He does like Merry, he sounds so does Sam. Pippin's Scottish.
The Shire seems very sort of fucking Sanford itself, doesn't it?
Well, that's what the Shire's supposed to represent, isn't it? It's supposed to represent sort of like, England's rolling hills and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, on to...
Yeah, let's talk about World's End.
World's End.
We've sucked off Hot Fuzz for a while.
I quote The World's End quite a lot.
What's your favourite quote? Start off there.
Oh, man. I like, you better believe it, big balls. I also say whenever I mean, this, whenever I like move off when I'm driving, I go, let's do this. Another one.
Weirdly enough, I actually think it's World's End where Nicholas Frost is at his funniest. Yeah. Because he gets so many massive laughs out of me and just his, like, more in his passive aggressiveness. Like, there's one moment when they're all having drinks at a service station and it's like, oh, well, like, they're all waiting for Gary and all that sort of thing. He's like, so where's Gary at? And Nicholas just says, he's over there playing Need for Speed. And it cuts to him with the thing, like, he just says it with such sort of resigned contempt. Yeah. It's like, right.
And also, like, his range of characters in all three films have, like, they all change.
Oh, fantastic acting, yeah.
So it's like, and they're all new, like, they're not, like, typecast.
Yeah.
Because, like, it would be quite easy just for, like, Nick to play, like, the same character over and over again, but they don't, and I like how they change it.
Yeah, obviously in Shaun of the Dead, he's a bumbling schlub, and in Hot Fuzz, he's a sort of
he's a sort of innocent kind of. He's almost like a child in a way, isn't he?
Yeah, an innocent, sheltered sort of little country boy. Again, sort of like Sam from Lord of the Rings.
And then he's a successful businessman in.
What was he doing? Was it a estate agency? No, that was Bilbo's thing. He was an estate agent. What was he? They all gave each other their business cards at one point.
Door hasn't got a lintel.
What?
That's not a door. Hasn't got a lintel. Is it a window? Is it a window? That's another. Oh, and another one is like, we should get the Batman. You sold my guitar for drugs.
Oh, what was it? The Beast. The car, that shitty car. It's the same car. Well, I've had to change out, the shock absorbers, the cars that deal the front windows, and pretty much changed every single bit.
We called her the Beast because she was pretty hairy.
And what is it? He had his car in his mate's name because how many points was on his license or something like that.
It's like, no, I bought it from Peter to pay you. Still owe Paul.
Oh shit! Yeah, he actually borrowed like 200 quid off all the other three to pay off Nicholas Frost.
Yeah, that's good. I also like the one where he's the one that's his favorite one is like it's like He's like, oh, I can't, I've got an appointment. Of course you got an appointment with Dr. Ink. Dr. Yeah, no, drink, I get it.
I'd say if there was only one part of the film I personally felt was really unnecessary, it was that lady that was the guy's sister.
Oh, yeah, it's Rosamund Pike, man.
I mean, I know she comes in at the end with her car to save everyone, but part of me kind of thought like her character and her role was sort of pointless. Like, there was the other guy, she'd apparently shacked up with Gary King like years ago, and the other guy had always liked her, but it sort of just ended with that. Like, she didn't really seem relevant.
Yeah, it seems a little bit like a bit of like a breaking of new ground in.
Did they just have to have a lady character be prominent or something?
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. Like Hot Fuzz doesn't.
There's the lady officer.
No, but like, there's no like love interest for anyone.
No, there isn't
in Hot Fuzz. Whereas there definitely is in Shaun of the Dead.
Well, there was his girlfriend at the start, but
yeah, but she's in like the whole. Oh yeah, but she's not in it though, is she?
I know what you mean.
But. Yeah, I don't know. I just felt, I did feel like that was a little bit kind of like they put it in there, but it was Rosamund Pike, so I don't mind.
What's she been
in? James Bond.
I'm really bad with this.
She was in Pierce Brosnan James Bond. Die Another Day. That's the one she was in. Yeah, no, I think.
Are you going to see that new James Bond?
Yeah, I am.
What, in the cinemas?
Maybe. I mean, my dad loves James Bond, so I'll probably.
All dads love James Bond. My dad does.
Yeah,
all dads do. I think you become a dad and you get a little box in the mail full of shortbread driving gloves, a flat cap, and the James Bond complete collection. That just sums up the word dad.
Yeah, I mean, no joke. His favourite film, just like ever, is Casino Royale.
I think my dad's favourite film, James Bond film, I believe it's Octopussy.
Is it?
It's either Octopussy or The World's Not Enough. Or was it Tomorrow Never Dies? I think it's one of the Brosnan ones. I know Octopussy is a Connery?
Octopussy?
No, it's not.
No, it's a...
It's not It's not Timothy Dolan. It's not...
Hang on, I'm going to look this up.
It's not Pierce Brosnan, not Sean Connery, it's not Roger... Is it Roger Moore? I think it might be Roger Moore.
Oh, is it Roger Moore? Come on, let's go up the fucking cast, lads. 2 secs. It is Roger Moore.
It is Roger Moore. Fuck me inside out. Fair enough.
Yeah,
back to World's End.
Yeah, back to World's End. I think World's End...
Pierce Brosnan was in World's End, so that wasn't entirely irrelevant.
So they've got 2 James Bonds in their films, which is interesting.
That's actually kind of cool.
Neat bit of trivia.
I wonder if there's actually...
and Shaun of the Dead doesn't, so, another...
I was about to say, actual film trivia-wise, do you think that film is one of the few films in cinema that actually features multiple James Bonds?
Series-wise, maybe, yeah.
That'd be an interesting film fact. Like, that's maybe one of, 5 movies that's ever had, multiple actors that have played James Bond in it. Because I don't think, Daniel Craig, Pierce Brosnan, Sean Connery, I don't think they ever did that many films together, did they, or anything?
No, I don't think they have.
Someone look that up for us. We're too lazy.
Yeah.
Right.
You go and do work that we could do for ourselves.
So fair enough. That lady's don't worry, she played the role quite well, and I've got nothing wrong with female characters. I just kind of want them to be important in some way.
Yeah, I felt like she only sort of turned up when the plot needed her to.
And even then, she was just because she kept going and coming back.
Yeah, she wasn't. Yeah, she turned up to introduce her. It was she was introduced verbally during the right opening parts, and then she comes to be introduced physically, and then she goes away for a bit, and then she comes back.
She's in the nightclub thing because they introduced the guy she used to have a crush on. She was like, "Holy shit, he actually died a few years ago."
Yeah, and it's basically it's the kind of classic I know we're saying crazy shit and you don't believe us stuff, and then they need to convince her.
Oh, she
and with the twins as well.
Oh yeah. Did you believe them?
Yeah. That happens, and then she turns up at the end. She seems a little bit plot devicey.
Wasn't the guy that had a crush on her the one that said he was dating a 19-year-old? Was that him?
26.
Pedophile!
Pedophile! Oh no, I hope you're happy together.
Yeah, don't get me wrong.
I'm dating a 26-year-old fitness instructor. Pedophile! No, I certainly hope you're happy together.
Definitely some good stuff. No, Graham, the film as itself is, obviously it goes without saying, it's very funny, like you're saying, very quotable, and she was alright in the movie. Weirdly enough, though, I actually felt the relationship that the O-Man had with his bully, I found that more compelling than the one she had with the paedophile guy.
The paedophile.
Transcribe that sentence and take it out of context.
To be fair, the same actor plays that pedo priest in Peaky Blinders, doesn't he?
Holy fucking shit, he does, doesn't he?
Gary King was on to something.
Watching him murdered was great.
Oh yeah, that was a good one. Spoilers.
One of the few things Michael did that didn't make me hate him.
Yeah, I know.
Again, I need to finish season 5, but hopefully he doesn't come across more like
season
an asshole.
6 is coming. I feel like he's going to.
Michael so far has been a piece of shit in season 5. So this is the welcome I get. Yeah, because you're on suspect of betraying everyone you know, dipshit.
Yeah, also, you lost like all their money.
Yes.
Like, you literally lost all their money.
And you show up with a big fur coat on, acting like a fucking Don Mafioso. Fuck you. And your little mole on your cheek. But anyway.
I think that's also his wife. She's annoying as well.
Oh, I bet she's going to get worse.
Yeah, I can't.
Why is it in gangster media they make the women partners the most insufferable characters? Breaking Bad, Casino, Peaky... No, Polly was actually kind of awesome.
Polly is... Rest in peace, Helen McCrory.
Arthur's wife's a bit annoying.
Oh, yeah, Linda's annoying. Linda's really annoying.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I don't think we've done a Peaky Blinders episode. I'll finish season 5 and we'll do one.
Yeah, with season 6 coming up, we should do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, let's quickly talk about, because so far we've talked about World's End and we haven't yet talked about the aliens.
The aliens, yeah.
Obviously because that's the green Cornetto one, because green means alien. Oh, we didn't mention, green was for aliens, the strawberry one was in the Shaun of the Dead.
For blood, and then blue is obviously police.
The plain one, yeah.
Yeah. I think what was like a slightly... I think what people might have found slightly jarring is that like the sort of aliens were very much like so like Hot Fuzz was just people that were the enemy at the end of the day. There's nothing supernatural about it. Zombies, zombies
they're greater good.
Yeah, they're greater good. And
holy shit, how did we never mention that once? That's impressive.
Well, we have now.
Comment down below, just say the greater good and see how many people in the replies say the greater good back. That'd be great.
Yeah, the greater... Oh, yeah,
that'd be a great thing to start. Please put that in the comments, and if you see that in the comments, reply the greater good. I want to get as many of those going as we can.
Do you know, I do that sometimes, like in watching other films, like if any a character says a greater good, like in my head, I go like, good.
It's just so fun to say.
What did you think about the aliens in World? Like, when you first realised that this is what was happening, what did you think about it?
Weirdly enough, my first problem is, why is it blue? Because they ripped the head off and all of it's all in blue, like Barbicide, like toothpaste sort of shit. And I was like, that was weird. I thought the practical effects of it were actually kind of fun. Obviously, they switch between human people, and then they do a jump cut, and they make it obviously dummy, so they can rip the head off. Believe it or not, they didn't murder actual humans for the film. I thought certain CGI parts weren't too good. Like the statue they made come to life was kind of shit.
Yeah, I thought the statue thing was a bit much. I was I'm okay with people because that's exciting. Is that you don't know who is he one of them or is he one of them?
Invasion of the Body Snatchers or that thing. What's that movie with the guys with the sunglasses and you can tell them?
I swear that's it.
They Live Among Us.
Oh yeah, they live. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, they reference it because they point. Because, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, they, point with, an open mouth, because,
Oh, yeah. Well, obviously, those are homages.
Yeah,
homages?
Exactly.
Homage.
And is it homage or is it pastiche? I thought that was great, because it's you don't know, is he one of them or is he one of them? But then they had, the giant robot.
They were infiltrated by Bilbo for, 2 pubs before they realised, and you re-watch it and you realise how funny he's acting and encouraging them and everything.
I thought maybe the big robot, I was just I don't know why they needed a big robot, because again, it didn't actually really do anything hugely sort of
I mean, the idea of having a whole town looking for you, they have people marching along. I think
that's scary enough.
Yeah, the big robot, and again, didn't look too good. And obviously the big light thing right at the end that were talking to them and all that.
I felt the big robot looked like if someone said do you know what a generic alien robot looks like?
It looked like the thing that Thor fought in the first Thor.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah.
Like, almost to a T.
Yeah, and again, that wasn't a hugely interesting thing to look at either.
Boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Ooh, shiny.
It's always shiny and metal. Yeah, I think what I liked about The World's End, and again, what makes it unique from like the other two films, is that it's not just like those two, like Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. It's a group of them.
Yeah, and again,
Which
full of characters that are very vibrant.
Yeah, and very real as well.
Oh yeah, they all seem to react like normal people, sort of thing. And I think that's a good like charm, in a way, almost in the whole trilogy, is the fact that none of them are generic film characters that are going along for the sake of the plot. Like, when someone wants to get out of a situation, they're like, why the fuck are you guys still here? We've got to get out of here. It's like, because they don't want to be in the interesting action, because no sensible human being does want to. They want to be where safety is.
I also like... I think going back to Aliens, I like how it's a sort of way that they can have this really over-the-top kind of cartoonish action, which again is like... when Nick Frost like rips the two arms off the guy and starts using them as clubs, like that's really like funny. But like you couldn't do that with like a real person, because like it would be, first of all, unbelievable.
It is possible to dislocate someone's arms from their thing, but actually being able to tear the tendons and
bone
the skin
and muscle.
You wouldn't need to tear bone, because if it's pulled out the socket, it's then dislodged. But you would have to tear skin and tendons.
Yeah, to actually like dismember somebody with your like just two, like with your bare hands.
I'm not sure the exact PSI you'd need. Like, for example, Eddie Hall could do that, and when we watched in Game of Thrones The Mountain, when he crushed Oberon's head, that is possible. It requires a certain amount of force, but because his hands are already close together enough, it is like that much force compressing. It would almost be like a hydraulic press.
Huge though, is it?
That's the thing.
Whereas like Nick Frost is just a normal dude.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It is possible, but not from Nick Frost.
But I think for like, I think making the aliens like quite easy to like dismember and stuff like that, I think it's like quite funny.
Yeah.
And the fact that
like,
they can
like action men, like Lego and shit.
They can and also the fact that they can like reattach their heads and arms and stuff like that. It again sort of makes them dangerous, because it's like you can sort of knock them out for a bit, but not really. Like they're still
they just reassemble themselves.
Like at least even with zombies, you can kill them. Whereas as far as I know, the aliens actually you can't.
I wonder if you put the zombies against aliens, who would have won from those two franchises. Like there's like 20 on one side and 20 on the other. Because obviously their big light suction thing's not going to work on a zombie, is it?
No, but...
And the zombie bite's not going to work on a blue-blooded alien.
Yeah, but then an alien could...
Who's more relentless?
I think the aliens are definitely faster, aren't they? Like an alien could definitely like...
They're faster, but they wouldn't be able to subdue a zombie the way they'd subdue a human. I mean, they could, I think it would come to who's more relentless.
They could snap like a neck, though, couldn't they? Removing the head, destroying the brain. They could,
would
smash
they be
something.
able to remove a head?
Well, you could smash it against something, couldn't you? You stamp on their head hard enough, I guess.
Were the aliens strong?
Yeah, they were strong. They could like lift.
Yes, they were. They were like lifting people up by the neck, which is incredibly difficult.
Yeah,
I do love that moment when Nick Frost's character just loses his shit. I think he does like rips his shirt. I fucking hate this town. So good, like the building point, because we were talking mentioned before how Gary King is just getting on his nerves, literally from the mark. Like he's just pissing him off bit by bit, because there's that running joke about how you're not able to like correct him because he always has something to say. Well, like he always says, well, actually, they're not quite sure about that, are they? And it's like, you know what your problem is, Gary? You can never be wrong. How is that a problem? They made a thing about Jack the Ripper. Well, no one really knows where Jack the Ripper was buried, do they?
That was the Three Musketeers, wasn't it? It's like, well, no one really knows how many Musketeers there were, do that? You do know that's a story. And a story written by Alexander Dumas. Yeah, well, a lot of people say that about the Bible these days. Well, it was written by Alexander Dumas.
Yes.
Oh, don't be stupid. It was written by Jesus.
But the thing is, that is so relatable, because there are certain people like that. My partner often says I'm quite like that, who often can't admit when they're wrong because they have a roundabout way to being right. They can never just say, you're right.
It's like one of those people that, like, just frustrate people to the point where they just give up. It's like that phrase. Actually, this sums up Gary King quite well. It's like, arguing with an intelligent person is difficult. Arguing with an idiot's impossible.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're right, like, you're wrong. It's like trying to play a game of chess with a chicken or something like that. Just going to knock all the pieces over and shit on the board. Oh, sorry, I got one more quote, which is when they're in the clubhouse, and I don't know why this is such a dumb line, but I always find it really funny, where they're trying to work out, like, because they find out that O-Man's, he's one of them, and then they're trying to find out, like, by asking each other questions and stuff that they would know, and then it's like, how do I know it doesn't say King Gary? It says, cut into the board on top of that. Wait, it doesn't say King Gary. Says King Gay. He's like, or some cunt scribbled it out. He's like, that was me. He's like, King Gay.
Actually, it's very good you mentioned that part, because in that scene itself, we get the big reveal of why Gary King is the way he is and all that sort of thing. Which, again, going back to we were talking before about the writing of these trilogies, how there's so much like subtleties and attention to details. When we discussed this before, I really appreciate... In a weird way, I really relate to Gary King. Maybe it's because I still dress like him in a certain way.
The boots and black jeans. I think,
Like, I could have easily seen myself ending up like someone like Gary King.
The rock t-shirts as well.
Yeah, I relate because I'm a loser. What I mean is, because obviously the big reveal at the end, it turns out Gary King was institutionalised because he was self-harming and possibly suicidal. There's even a theory that Gary King had planned to kill himself. That's why he had no bags or luggage for the trip or anything. Like,
that's some dark shit.
After he planned to do the Golden Mile, that was the last thing he was going to do for his life.
Yeah.
And obviously there are so many subtle hints throughout the movie talking about that. Like when they're talking about like therapy or aggression, says, actually you shouldn't hold in your aggression because apparently it can sublet itself in the subconscious. Like he has all these like therapist and group therapy little sayings that he puts out there just as little asides
little,
that
like,
eventually
tidbits, isn't it?
And it all adds up to the eventual reveal to the fact he was like institutionalized.
Yeah, which is like really, again, like I think they do it like really well in all three films, where they have like these comedy, and it's like they are funny films, but then they also know how to like sort of pull on heartstrings and get into like
there's
emotional,
a serious moment.
Yeah,
like,
they really do it.
They really treat it that way.
Yeah.
Like there's no like little side jokes or anything or little bits of them making light about it. They were when he had that big heart to heart with Nicholas Frost and talking about how he let him down and you and Gary King.
Yeah, right. I think it's quite easy, like in comedy films, to have a serious bit and then ruin it with a punchline of a joke.
Yeah.
I really find that like kind of cheap. But I think like if you're gonna go for it,
movies.
Go for it. Like just fucking like they really do it like properly. And that was like an oh fuck moment for me as well, because I was like, oh shit, like that, like it's actually like it makes him a really like sad character. He's not just a dick.
Well, yeah, that was the whole point. Is everybody he knows went on, moved on, matured, and went to have a life. Although there were kind of reveals the fact that they were all like secretly miserable. Like Nicholas Frost has turned out his wife had left him, and he was on the horse because he was it was sobriety and all that sort of thing, and the other guy turned out he lost the person he actually liked. But I think the overall idea that Gary King, like the whole point of it was the fact that this was a loser who had nothing else to live for other than just the Golden Mile, and the whole movie, everyone's looking at him like, holy shit, man, that is so sad.
Yeah, that's what I like the bit as well. He's like, you had sex, yeah? We have 3 kids. Oh, get you, fuck machine.
Yeah.
I say that quite a lot as well.
And again, even when he's trying to recruit everyone, he's just trying to have like schoolyard banter with adults. Yeah. And they're not reacting the way he wants them to, sort of thing. And so he gets nervous and he keeps making jokes, sort of thing, because he's not... And again, it's very humanistic. Like, when someone's not getting the reaction they want, they get very sort of defensive, they overcompensate.
Yeah.
And they become... It's just, again, it's very sad sort of thing. And because there is, in a way, they hold, like, fondness for him as an old friend sort of thing. No one really has the heart to sort of like... Dude, you're a grown man. Stop it.
It's like one of those like
they indulge him.
It's like when you sort of re-meet up with someone that you knew at school, and like the best years of their life was school, and they never really got over that, or like college. like the best years of their life was at college. Like that was when they peaked, and then like because that's the happiest or the best they were ever been. And then you're just like, yeah.
Would you have the heart to say that to them though, or would you just sort of like, would you do what they did? Would you patronise them? Would you go along?
Oh, people from my school, no, no.
You call them out for the losers they are.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, well, probably no, I'm not that brave. I'd probably be like, yeah, that was over 10 years ago.
Well, that's the thing. I'm in a midway point because I have some old friends from school but that's the thing. Even though they don't talk about old school times, like the most best thing that happened in their life recently was getting to pre-order the next fucking the Call of Duty game. Is like that's the best thing you're waiting for in your life right now.
I mean, I get like a hobby and stuff, but then you still like I don't know. I've bumped into a couple of like old sort of like school. Well, I say friends, people I knew at school, or whatever.
You cruel bastard.
And what they were fucking wankers.
Everyone was. We were in school. Are you saying you weren't a wanker when you were 16?
No, but they were more wankers.
Okay.
But they're like sort of still like in that sort of mentality.
Yeah.
Sort of. It's like we should go to the park and like drink in the park. It's like, yeah, we're like grown ass men. We can go to the pub.
And that is exactly what
do you know
I
think
what I mean? The World's End
it's
really...
like I have no desire to go to a park and drink.
So yeah, Gary King is a real tragic character. And I think in a way, Gary King, Nicholas Angel, and whatever the fuck his name was...
Warren Angle. Do you know what his name is?
Nicholas Angel. Oh yeah, what was the name in Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, do you know what his name is?
No, I've forgotten.
Shaun Riley. And you don't actually ever hear his name, Shaun Riley, but there is a poster in the background when you know that it's not hip hop, it's an electro prick. There's a DJ poster of him in the background that says Shaun Riley on it.
Oh, right.
That's a little sort of Easter egg to like actually know his name, because you never actually hear his name in the film. So yeah,
that's interesting.
A little nerdy bit.
I'd say there is one thing that all three of those characters do have in common. They are each the result of their own lives. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that Nicholas Angel, the way his circumstances, what I say is all of their circumstances are entirely their own fault. In Shaun of the Dead, his girlfriend's leaving him and things aren't great for him right now because he chooses to just goof off with his unemployed friend and just want to go to the pub. Nicholas Angel forced to leave London and all the policemen hate him because he chooses to be an excellent officer. And again, in The World's End, Gary King's his circumstances his fault because he never sort of moved on and grew up. So they're all three of those characters, which I think Simon Pegg purposely chose, is that people circumstances. Those characters' circumstances are purely of their own making, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, none of them had anything done to them by anyone else. Their futures were determined by their own hand.
I think saying it's like their fault, though, it's like Nicholas Angel trying to be the best policeman and best, sort of upholder of the law, saying, oh, it's your fault that your life is shit for trying, mate. It's not
in the end of the movie,
right.
Even he realised that never being able to switch off wasn't the best thing for him.
But I feel like it wasn't really his... It was the police department's decision to send him away. Like, he couldn't have sort of foreseen...
He couldn't have foreseen it, but you can't say it wasn't because of what he did. I'm not trying to victim blame here. Yeah. I'm sort of getting at the idea that they all sort of...
Yeah, technically, I guess. Yeah.
And I say that's an interesting, as a human wise, like, are we actually, like, because you get so many people that walk around blaming everyone else for their problems, but in reality, how much of your present circumstance is because of you?
Yeah, that is true. Taking self-responsibility for, yeah, just taking self-responsibility.
Which every character that he played in each of those three movies eventually did do.
Yeah.
Shaun did eventually grow up and realise and all that sort of thing. Again, Gary King eventually gained a bit of perspective and obviously caused the apocalypse.
Yeah.
He actually, I don't think he actually changed as a person.
I think he ordered 5 waters at the end.
Yeah, well, obviously because there's no crops for beer anymore.
Yeah, I think that was another thing actually, was that in Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, like, the world turned back to normal, whereas at World's End it didn't. It completely, like, it was changed in like nothing. It was like an apocalypse.
Do you think we're meant to see them as good characters? Because they caused the end of the world. This whole movie was in a way Gary King a villain.
I mean, in a way, like if they just left and done the sensible thing. But I think that was the sort of one thing that seemed a little contrived in it as well. That it was like, oh, in order to blend in, we must carry on getting intoxicated. Which is like, well, like if they want you to leave...
I don't think the aliens wanted them to leave. I think once the aliens noticed them, they were planning to eventually entrap them in. And if they tried to leave, because they mentioned themselves, we'll be halfway out on the road at our thing, and that's when they'll get us, when no one else is around.
I don't know.
I think they wanted to stay in a public area, sort of thing. So if anyone tried to attack them, it would cause a big scene.
Yeah, but they attacked them anyway and caused a big scene. So,
yeah, but that was their reasoning at the time. They didn't know that though. They hadn't realised at the time that everybody was a robot.
But like when they first fight the aliens, they should have just left because the aliens weren't any of the wiser at that point. They should have just left then, like any normal person would. But they were like, oh no.
I think that's not so much a plot hole as just them being stupid characters.
No, it's not a plot hole, but that's the thing though. Like I think saying just them being stupid to push the story forward is a little bit like...
That's fair. Quick thing, because we've just hit over an hour now. The last point I want to ask about The World's End, the big thing at the end when they're talking to the galactic lights that are talking about...
big lamp.
Go back to Legoland.
You can't...
If you were in that situation, would you have acted like Gary King? Because part of me was thinking like, so there actually is a galactic federation of planets that humanity's being groomed into joining. And to be honest, before you answer, think of the way the world is right now. Presently in our country right now, a bunch of people are acting like absolute dipshits with petrol. Think of how the internet, Facebook, Twitter is right now. Could you honestly not say maybe humanity... a lot of us, maybe we need to be robots. But what does robot mean, Rob? It means slave.
Robot means slave.
Exactly. Sorry, I had to do that.
That was a good time to put... If you're going to put it in, that's the time.
That's what she said.
Yeah. If you're going to put it in, now's the time before I fall asleep.
You know, it's very hard to muse philosophically while making knob gags.
Yeah. It's a fine line to walk. I feel like he was however many pints deep as well, and he's like on adrenaline.
12
and he
should have been, right? Yeah. That was the Golden Mile?
Yeah, I don't think he actually drank 12 though, did he? I don't think
did he not have that last one?
No, because Nick Frost like smashed it.
Why was Nick Frost determined at the end to stop him? Like, why did he give a shit?
I don't know.
He was like, I think you've had enough. Like, will it make any difference if he downs it or not?
To be fair, though, people that say I think you've had enough are the most annoying cunts in the world. Yeah, I think you've had enough. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise you were in charge of what I put in my body. Yeah, I was going to say, if you've got a problem, no one's keeping you here, mate. My body, my choice.
Hashtag me too.
Hashtag one more pint.
But yeah, if you were, would you have agreed with the aliens? And I think I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about Pierce Brosnan, when I would have heard him out.
Did you just call him Penis Brosnan?
Oh shit, did I? Oh fuck. Hashtag Penis Brosnan.
No, because I think that was wasn't that the sort of kind of weirdly endearing thing, that the point they were trying to make, that humans are just fucking like kind of a lost cause, but we kind of muddle along. I don't like the idea of like a galactic federation running my life.
Yeah, but imagine if you were... I imagine aliens out there, like, imagine if they could have given us like the cure for cancer and like energy and all that sort of thing. Like, humanity had to prove themselves, and then they would have literally solved all our problems.
Yeah, but then they would have literally become like... Shit,
am I advocating for fascism here?
Well, I think one overarching thing that wants to take freedom away in the name of safety? I don't know, mate. Fuck.
But I'm not advocating it in terms of any sort of prejudice. It's more the idea. Oh shit! But that's totalitarianism.
Yeah, it's totalitarianism.
Give me a sec.
One way or the other.
Bear with me. I'll justify it.
I'm fairly sure that aliens. And the thing is,
Hitler.
They're not even like that. They're not even that good totalitarians either, because Nick Frost says it's our basic human right to be fuck ups, and then the big lamp just goes, yeah,
fuck it.
and then like leaves. Maybe that's the sort of thing. It's like the humans are just like ungovernable, aren't they? They're just like,
well, we're naturally chaotic. We're these horny animals riddled with ego and narcissism and a desire for self-gratification.
Yeah.
Without society, we'd all be hedonists, wouldn't we? We'd just be screwing and killing and then sleeping after a good screw and kill.
Yeah. No, and then just what's it? You know,
we'd
Circle
literally
of
be
Life.
like Mad Max,
Like the Lion
Fury.
King.
What was it? Fury Road? Yeah.
Like the Lion King.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the message in that film, right?
So is
Circle
Gary
of
King
Life.
Scar? Or...
No, he's a different side character that they cut out, obviously.
Lion King.
Gary King. Except instead of a lion, it's just him. Who's the helmet without the helmet? That's Lion King. Sorry. No.
So you do what Gary King said, tell the big lamps to fuck off back to Legoland.
Yeah, because I reckon everyone else would like fucking...
But knowing what you know now, knowing that would bring about the apocalypse, no more smartphones, no more Netflix.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Disney Plus is where it's at.
But that would be like, it'd be like living in the Matrix, knowing it's a Matrix. Like, even if you were like, okay, I kind of like technology and indoor plumbing and all that, but I kind of have to walk around for the rest of my life not knowing if even my own wife is a robot.
Yeah.
Like, you'd eventually drive yourself mad or kill yourself.
Yeah, you would. I feel like... I don't think I'd do it even in like, you know, the name of safety as it is. It's like, oh no, we're doing this for the greater good. The greater good. Yeah. Because I think I like humanity kind of being a bit shit. Or a lot shit.
So you'd happily live in the world at the end of the world's end, just as long as you knew you were free? Yeah,
probably. I'm a freedom-loving man.
I kind of like toilets.
Yeah? Be free to shit out in the open.
Yeah. You know, the whole, like, you know, the running water and... I'm not going to, have a fucking bath in a swamp saying, thank God those aliens are gone. Like... I also like cake, and I feel that'd also be gone.
I am willing to submit to totalitarian alien species because cake. The cake is a lie.
That's the best line to close on. Let us know down in the comments your favourite of the Cornetto Trilogy. If you absolutely disagree with me and Rob, me weirdly advocating for some sort of fascist regime as long as it's circumvented our progressiveness.
And Rob's advocating for shitting out in public.
Also,
it
please...
sounds worse now.
Please have that greater good thread going in the comments. That would just honestly make my year. Mainly because of what a shit year it's been.
Yeah, and also it's nearly over.
Exactly.
All right. Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and everyone in between. Until next time, you have been listening to...
Laughing on a